Guys, today I want to talk about a player amortization deal between Pjanic and Arthur Melo. And before I talk about this, I want to give a brief introduction about what is actually player amortization and how it's been done. And before people are been fuming about the decisions made by the board about this is a useless tactical useless decision made by the Barca board members to sell Arthur Melo to Juventus and get Pjanic. I'm telling you now, this decision was a tactical decision in terms of bringing the player. Bringing Pjanic doesn't make any sense for the club. Yes, agree by the fans. Yes, doesn't make any sense for the club. Why would you want Miralem Pjanic in your club when you have De Jong, when you have players like De Jong, Arturo Vidal, and all that stuff? So simply, I just want to go into why this deal has been done, and this is more of a player amortized financial tactical masterclass done by both the clubs to make money at the crucial times of COVID-19, simply to say. So why has this deal been done? Before I go about into the main idea, I'll just give a brief idea of what is amortization. Amortization is nothing but same thing as depreciation, but this is done in intangible assets. So player is in, here we call it as player amortization. So for example, let's take a PlayStation 5 you buy, which is PlayStation 4 you buy, which is of let's say, I'm just giving, it's not that amount, but let's say if it's of 40,000 rupees, okay, 40,000 Indian rupees, or depending upon what is in your market, just taking 40,000 Indian rupees. Now with that 40,000 Indian rupees, every assets has a fixed expectancy life. So let's take this is for 5 years. So 40,000 divided by 5, which is 8,000. So now how will this be recorded into your in your statement? A book, it's called as a book value, which is done in your statement. So you have a book value of 40,000. Now every year this value will be depreciated 8,000. So 8,000, 16,000, 24,000, 32,000, 40,000. So this is how the value will be decreased. And why do we do amortization, depreciation? Is because simple, a product can't be the same price every year. You're buying something for, if you're buying a machine for $20,000, that same machine after 1 year can't be $20,000, and you can't go and you can't show that in your income statement or balance sheet by saying this is $20,000. Makes no sense. Okay, if you buy a PC for $40,000, that same PC next year won't be $40,000 in market, and you can't take that price in your income, in your statement, and deduct tax from it and say, yeah, this is $40,000 and deduct tax from it. It's more like, you can say, if you try to do that, it's more like you're changing the amount, or more like modifying the amount. What's the term used? I forgot the term. Yeah, you're trying to manipulate. You're trying to manipulate the amount and keeping it in your statement to show that this is for $40,000 and I'm depreciating. It makes no sense. So every asset has a fixed expectancy life, which is for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, or 6 years, depending upon how much they put in the business. And I don't want to go too much into how they set and all. It's I'm just giving a brief idea. Let's say I'm just giving, it's for 6 years, so 5 years, which I just said. So every year it is going to decrease by 8,000, 8,000. I'm just taking a simple example of 8,000, 8,000, 8,000. Different businesses, different use. This is called straight line method, which I'm using. Other businesses may use some other form of amortized. How amortized and depreciation is simple, same thing, but this is for intangible assets. This is for fixed assets. I'm just taking how a depreciation works. So 8,000, 8,000, 8,000, 8,000, 8,000 till it becomes 0. So every year they'll do a carrying value. So if 40,000 minus 8,000, remaining amount needs to be paid. 40,000 is 16,000, remaining amount needs to be paid. I'm just here taking a straight line method, but some business may take 8,000, and it may next year it may be 7,600. That's the it's not possible for a product to be depreciated at the same rate. It's not possible. It may decrease, more. It depends. So that's what I'm saying. I'm just taking a simple example of a straight line method, which people just for you guys to understand. And it's the same thing which is used in, which I'm going to explain for players. Now coming to the player amortization. So why do we now you're going to ask me like how are you guys setting a life expectancy for players? Yes, life expectancy of players has been set. How it's been done? You are giving a contract for 5 years to a player. Now you're giving a contract for 5 years and you're signing him for, let's say you're signing that player for 40, you're signing, okay, Ronaldo signed for Juventus for 100 million in 2018. Okay, and it's, let's say if he signed for 4 years, I don't remember how many deals is it. Let's say he was signed for around let's say he was signed for 4 years. So let's, with the same method which I explained before, 100 divided by 4, which is around 25 million euros per year, which will be depreciated. Yes, and that's how it needs to be done, and this is how intangible assets also needs to be depreciated. You can't say that 100 million euros, that same player is of the same value the same year. You can't say that. Every player's market may fluctuate in the industry, depending upon how they play, how much they have signed on, and all that stuff. So that's why they brought in player amortization. That's how player amortization is done. A market's player can't be remain same for the years which they have signed the contract. Either they may increase, either they may decrease. They can't remain the same. So they brought in a method called player amortization. What you do is you depreciate the amount of by the years which have let's say if it's 4 years, and you do 100 divided by 4, make it 25, 25, 25, 25. It'll be more easyable, more sustainable for the market to understand, rather than keeping the same amount for same years, which makes no sense for the for the to be shown, in which is not sustainably right. So that's why they brought in player amortization. Now coming back to the Juventus, Arthur Melos, and Barcelona, Juventus Arthur, it's now currently Juventus Arthur Melos, and Barcelona's pjanic, which has been done. How it's been done with the tactical masterclass from both the clubs, tactical financial masterclass from both the clubs. So let me just go past how this deal is done and how they made profit. Arthur Melos signed for Barcelona 2018 with a fee of 30 million euros, and he was signed for a contract of 5 years. So that 5 years is 30 divided by 5, which is 30 divided he signed for 6 years contract. So 30 divided by 6 years is 5 million per year. They need to annually amortize it to make it sustainably right for the player and his value of the market, from the market. So what they have done is they're trying to sell this player after 2 years, which is 2020. So obviously 10 million euros has been done from the annual amortization. So remaining, how much is there? 20 million euros, which is left. Now in the deal which they have done between Juventus and this thing, these guys have smartly inflated the price of the players. However they inflated the prices, the deal between both the players was done with a swap deal, which is done with Arthur Melo, which has been sold for 80 million euros, and Juventus and pjanic went for 70 million euros. Very smart with their deal to make money. Now these guys have inflated this price knowingly or unknowingly. I have no idea about this, whether if it's right or wrong, I have no one to say. So smartly these guys now have inflated the price of both the million players. Now Arthur Melo if Barcelona sells Arthur Melo for 80 million euros, which Juventus needs to pay 80 million euros. So remaining, how much is there in the book value which they need to pay? 20 million euros annual amortization. So how much is left? 60. So how much they're making money now? 60 million euros they're making money. Look at this, how they made money. Simple. So profit of basically the profit of such sale will be 60 million euros. You can exclude the variables like I'm saying wages and other minor expenditures, agent fees, image rights payments, that also needs to be done. Now let's take the room from 2016, and when you see his contract, uh, you can see he signed from for a 35 million euros for 5 years. Therefore 35 divided by 7 again, so that will come 35 divided by 5 years, which is 7 million euros. And then he signed a new contract at 2018, which is 2 years past, which makes him 7 plus 7, 14 million euros of amortization done. Now when you take the new contract, what you do is, now you take 35 minus 14 million euros, which has been amortized for 2 years, because 2020 is signing a new contract in 2023. So 35 minus 14, which is remaining 21 million euros. So that 21 million euros needs to be amortized for the next till 2023. So that's how it needs to be done. Amortization needs to be done. Why this has been done is, one factor which I've said before is transfer market fluctuates, is that's one reason, and another reason is because the amount can't. Another reason is because as I said, you can't show the price has been, you're paying this you're not paying this fee as, sometimes you don't pay this fee as one time amount. It can be paid in installments for 4 years. So that's the reason why this deal has been done, and that's why player amortization is done. And because like for example, Nicolas Pepe and Arsenal 80 million is not paid, it's been paid for, so it showed in the balance sheet as this thing. And one more thing is, transfer market fluctuates, so they rather, whatever the price they do, they depreciate the amount. That's the main reason. So from whatever remaining this thing 40 million euros to 21 million euros, so that 20 million euros will be used for the new contract for amortization, and that will give you 4.2 millions per year. That 4.2 million in 2020, what they do is 14 million euros of first amortization for the first contract till 2021, plus to 2000, that was 2016 to 2018, 14 million euros for 2 years for the first contract of 35 million. Then the new contract, which is given till 2023, from the new amortization amount, which gave you 4.2 for the remaining 21 million euros, which gives you 8.2 for 14 plus 8.2, which will give you a gross of 22.2 million. Now from the initial cost of 35 million, you take so the initial cost of 25 million, you take out the 22.2 million, 12.8 million needs to be amortized, which needs to be left. So now they're selling that, they're inflating the price of the guy to 70 million euros. So they're making now of 57 million euros. The reason why they inflated the price for both the players is either because their market value is that much, they can sell it for that price. It makes sense, other players can't go for that price. There's many reasons why that may be. So you can see how wonderful it is to see these two players to go to clubs and actually have this type of effect in the market. And it doesn't make sense for both the players to it doesn't make sense for Barcelona to get Pjanic, but they have a win-win situation for them for financial situation, and Juventus gives a double bonus. They get a win-win situation for the money and for the for the profit to be made. And in terms of tactical review, it makes no sense for Pjanic to play. Whether he's going to play, is he a number 10 role player who can play substitute? And they've been finding he can't do that. Either he's going to substitute De Jong, Pjanic. I don't think Setien is going to do that, or any manager is going to substitute and come. So he's more like used as a squad type of player. He'll be coming in and out, or they actually wanted the player in terms of squad players. We don't know the inside matter, but the main frame which we know is that they are making money, and that's the first reason they have made it. They're making money, and they thought that it's it's not a really good deal. It's a deal which they can make money, and a manageable situation, you can see, and that's why it was done. So this is what fans need to understand, and that's what I wanted to say to you guys. And I think so you guys understood the deal for the Pjanic and Arthur deal. Thank you.